Now, he did give me a new diagnosis. It's not something that has ever been on my records. It's not something that any doctor has come out and said directly to me. It's just more of, after me doing my own research, something that I felt like was going on, but he pretty much just confirmed it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me again. If you are new here, then I wish you a warm welcome. My name is Mariah and I am on a journey to conceive rainbow baby number 1 with my husband Jeremy. If you're a returning subscriber, then I'm sure you're more than ready to get into this update. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing my first appointment with the new reproductive endocrinologist, and frankly my first reproductive endocrinologist. So if you guys watched some of my previous videos, then you already know that I had a consultation set up for fertility services at the Walter Reed Clinic. It's a naval-based down in Bethesda, Maryland, and that is about 5 to 6 hours, more like on the side of 6 hours away from where we live. So that was a trek in itself. It was a very long drive, even though we split it up into 2 parts. My parents live in Pennsylvania, so we spent half the trip driving down to their house, spent the night, and then drove the rest of the way down to Maryland. So yeah, we're gonna have to kind of fine tailor how we are planning out our trips down to Walter Reed, just because when I have a morning appointment, it's really hard to not stress about making it there on time. I was actually late to this first appointment, but the clinic is so nice that it wasn't really much of a problem at all. So when I got to the clinic, the staff was very, very nice. I was a little bit tardy, so they wound up taking me straight to the back. And when I met my doctor, my first impression of him was really well. The first thing he asked me was, "How are you doing? I read your case files and I just want to know, how are you actually doing?" So I kind of went ahead and explained to him my previous experience with civilian doctors and my frustrations with just how our journey has been going, and he was very attentive and very understanding. I explained to him that I was pretty much tired of being shuffled around from civilian doctor to civilian doctor. I was tired of not being taken seriously. I was tired of feeling unheard by my doctors. And then I went ahead and told him why I wanted to come to Walter Reed in the first place. And that is really because what I feel like I need for my personal care is for everyone to be not only on the same page, but on the same team trying to achieve the same goal. So I explained to him that if he's going to be working with me, I want him to be able to communicate with a maternal fetal medicine doctor or any other specialist that I would need. They should all be kind of working together as a team with me on their team to ultimately achieve this goal of me having a successful pregnancy. And I told him that before it was kind of like everyone's kind of shuffling around and saying, "Oh, I see your doctor kind of put this note in here. I don't understand why they did that," but there was never any follow-up or communication from doctor to doctor. And I told him that because there's such a large hospital, I know that they can meet whatever need I have, so that they don't even have to talk to other doctors that are outside of their own practice. It might be outside of their field, but it's all under one hospital. And he was very understanding and very receptive to that, and let me know that yeah, he wants the same thing for me when he does refer me out to other people, that they should be communicating with each other and talking with each other and not always relying on me to just kind of ping pong information back and forth. Then he went ahead and gave me this book, which is basically a patient handbook for their fertility clinic. It has a lot of reproductive information in it, just about infertility, the services they offer. It breaks down the different procedures, anything from IUIs to IVF to sperm analysis, all those procedures. It just breaks everything down, and it has all of their information in one place. So I have every fax number, every phone number that I may need. And then we started going over the history. We went over just a little bit of Jeremy's history, and we went over my history. Now, I don't really have a whole lot of family history when it comes to any type of fertility struggles or fertility issues. I did, mention a few things that I thought that he might want to know or might need to know, but overall, I didn't really have a whole lot of information to give him to start kind of steering him in any particular direction. And he asked very, very basic questions. You always get asked the same questions every time you go in how many pregnancies you've had, how many live births you've had. He asked Jeremy, has he fathered any children outside of our relationship, which once again, he has. If you're new here and not up to date with it, yes, Jeremy does have 2 other children. And they really want to know all of these things. That way they can evaluate where their focus needs to be. They already know that he has 2 healthy children, so he has at least fathered some children at some point. And that kind of gave him also an indication of whether or not he wanted to send Jeremy off for certain testing too. He has already gotten a sperm analysis done. We had his vasectomy reversal done. It's almost coming up on a year now, back last July. And if you already seen that vlog, his results came back pretty much flawless. So we probably will go ahead and get that repeated once we hit the 1-year mark of his reversal. But as of right now, like he's good. He's doing great in that department. As far as I'm concerned, there's still a lot of unknown factors out there. So he let me know that we're just going to start kind of getting boxes checked off. After we went over the family history, he went ahead and let me know that after looking at my case and looking at all of my reports and everything collectively, that he does not believe that my issue is infertility. I didn't believe that was my issue at any point either, but he just wanted to kind of make that clear since that's a lot of what they deal with in that clinic. Now, he did give me a new diagnosis, and I say new, and it is a new diagnosis. It's not something that has ever been on my records. It's not something that any doctor has come out and said directly to me. It's just more of, after me doing my own research, something that I felt like was going on, but he pretty much just confirmed it. So he basically diagnosed me with recurrent miscarriage or recurrent pregnancy loss. Yes, you guys are probably looking like, well, duh, at this point. I think somebody would have, but no. Up until this point, no one has said that, mentioned that, or put it on my chart. And we all know sometimes in the medical field, it's about what's in your paperwork. It's about what's on your chart. He also let me know that there was some information about it in the handbook that I showed you guys, and I was very interested to find out only 1% of women have recurrent miscarriage, and that is diagnosed as 3 or more consecutive pregnancy losses. It was just surprising to know that that number was so seemingly small. Like, I wouldn't want anyone else to have to deal with it, but it was just kind of shocking and in a way. He also went ahead and let me know, and he said I just have to throw this disclaimer out there to both you and Jeremy that in 50% of cases they don't actually find an explanation or an answer for it. So he let us know that even after doing all of these tests, there is a very good chance that they might still find absolutely nothing, and we'll just have to try to work with not exactly knowing what's causing them. So as far as the diagnosis goes, I kind of feel like it's just one more thing that's going to get me the help I need. It's one less fight or one less argument I have to make for maybe a doctor being willing to try to do things differently versus how they do things with like other patients. So while no one wants to have that label or have that diagnosis be bestowed upon them, I think it's going to help me out in the long run. At least there's something medically attached to or labeling what's going on with my body and in my particular case. I feel like that's going to clear up some confusion when I go to potentially see other doctors in the future. So then we came up with a very short-term plan, which is basically more testing as of right now. So on cycle day 3, I'm going to go get my estradiol, my FSH, and my LH blood draw. Then I will call and schedule for an HSG to be done between cycle day 5 and cycle day 12. In addition to that, I'm going to be testing my AMH, TSH, CMV, prolactin, rubella, HTLV, hepatitis B and C, my blood type, along with my antibody screening, along with my RPR status. Now, some of those tests, they're just doing it because it's some of their just standard testing. I already know that I do not have a problem with my blood type or with the RH factor, so I already know that that's not an issue, but they wanted to just go ahead and get all of those tests out of the way at once. He also spend a good portion of time thoroughly explaining to me about the HSG procedure and what exactly he's looking for. They want to make sure that I don't have any blockages in my tubes or any uterine abnormalities being in either the shape of my uterus and or having a uterine septum, which he did let me know if you have a uterine septum, it more than likely will result 80% of the time in a miscarriage, just because it prevents the embryo from growing properly, because obviously it's in the way of the embryo being able to grow. He's like, I'm not saying that that's what you have, but if you do have it, we can do a procedure to get rid of it and that should solve the problem. But right now we don't know what is going on, so I'm not going to make any assumptions. He just did a really good job of explaining all of that stuff to both me and Jeremy, so we can get kind of a clear idea of what may be to come. But once he gets all of those tests back and compiles them with my genetic counseling testing, he is going to have me come back for a follow-up appointment, and we're going to sit down and go kind of line by line and discuss each result. He said he didn't want to do it over the phone. He wants me to be able to see everything as a whole picture, be able to ask him questions, and for him to explain exactly what everything means so that there's no confusion. He also went ahead and put in a referral for me to go over to the maternal fetal medicine department. It's in the same hospital. I actually think it's right across the hall or right down the hall from that clinic. When I go back, I'm going to try to schedule them for the same day, because making multiple trips down there is challenging, and if I can get at least appointments within 2 days of each other, I think it'll all wind up working out well. So yeah, overall, me and Jeremy both feel really good about the appointments and about the direction our fertility journey is kind of taking right now. I feel like Walter Reed was a very smart move for us to make. I also feel like they are very patient-centric, so they're going to look at me as a human being, and they're actually going to take time to listen to my thoughts and my input, and there's going to be a certain level of respect and a team player mentality. So I'm really looking forward to working with the providers there. I think it's going to be a much better experience for all parties involved. Hopefully once all of the testing is done, we can come up with a solid game plan. So yeah, that's where we're pretty much at as far as testing and everything like that goes. Now once I finish up getting all of this testing done, meaning once my final blood draws are done, I am going to go back on a vitamin regimen, and I'm currently kind of getting what that looks like together right now. I know I'm going to start taking some ubiquinol for my egg health along back with my prenatals, and I'll probably switch over to taking folate in the meantime. I had some folic acid, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and make that switch. Yeah, I haven't been taking anything at all since the miscarriage, just because I wanted to see what my body was doing on its own, so that way if I have any deficiencies or anything like that, we will be able to see it and it's not being cloaked by me taking all of these different supplements. So yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, go ahead and be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and if you are not already subscribed, be sure to do that to continue following along our journey. We would love to have you. I hope you all have an amazing and wonderful week, sending you positive vibes and lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!